So, Michaela, we talk a lot about customer service on the Tradies Business Show.
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst customer service experience you've ever had?
Well, I know I gave the worst customer service experience to someone.
You sure you want to share this on air?
Yeah. So, year 10, I had my work experience. So you get 2 weeks
the
of
work experience kid. Yep.
Yeah, and I got into Jupiter's Casino to do my work experience. And they put me in the buffet restaurant.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, like, in the money room.
No, in the buffet restaurant. And, of course, there's a lot of high rollers that go there. And I really learnt very quickly I never wanted to be in hospitality. I just was not good at it. I had no patience for it. And this very well-dressed man, I picked up his plate and kind of put the meal over his pants, including a knife that went in a very awkward position where he was sitting. And that was the end of my waitressing career because he complained. So they shifted me somewhere else in the casino.
Welcome to the Tradies Business Show, helping you get off the tools and into true business ownership so you can spend more time doing the things that matter most. Now, here are your hosts, Warwick Bidwell and Michaela Clark.
And welcome to another episode of the Tradies Business Show where we promise not to spill things on you.
Or drop sharp implements in private places.
No.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So thankfully you never took up that hospitality career.
No, you'll never see me on MasterChef.
Did you get to see any other interesting stuff at the casino? Or did they put you in like the cleaning or the dish room? You were the dish pig after that?
Yeah, no, there's nothing really interesting. Just...
Because you're not the most coordinated person I've ever met.
I have no coordination whatsoever.
You even managed to break things in the studio. It's like it's got padded walls. Anyway. So, yes, welcome to another fantastic episode. They're all fantastic episodes here at the Tradies Business Show. But great to have you with us. How's things going for you? You're travelling well? Like,
I'm top of the world, Warwick.
Yeah, okay, good,
Yeah,
good. I'm feeling pretty good too.
Yeah.
So...
Why wouldn't I have spent the day with you?
Yeah, I almost believe you, Michaela. Anyway, that's enough crappy chit-chat rubbish. So today we're going to talk about something that can sometimes be a little contentious and maybe will upset a few listeners with today's episode.
We only have like 5, so let's hopefully we don't lose too many. You
got a very low opinion of us, Michaela. And if you're listening to the show... just have a think about your life and how you behave and how you respond to situations. And if you're in traffic right now, just think about this. Are you sometimes maybe being a bit of a victim? Ooh, the V word. Not that V word, the victim word. But a lot of us probably think, no, I'm not a victim, I take charge of my life and all that sort of stuff, but it's amazing how sneaky that victim mentality can be, and I think it's worth us just chatting through perhaps what that looks like, and stop people maybe slipping into that a little bit, because it really does affect. I know it affects my results when I get into that space of the poor me mentality. And it's not that I go around moping in my beer all the time, but sometimes I feel a little bit like, oh, can I ever catch a break? Yeah. When is this going to get easier? And I certainly hear that from a lot of the clients that I work with, and I guess that's part of the reason they work with me. But it can be really debilitating to think that way.
And it certainly can snowball, when you start to, you get up and think, oh, I've just had a terrible morning. This is going to just be a terrible day. And maybe 2 really small things have happened. All of a sudden you're writing off the whole day. And it is very easy to fall into the trap and stay in there. So what are some signs, Warwick, that people may be having a bit of a victim mentality?
Well, one of the biggest ones, and perhaps one of the most powerful changes that we can make, is to our language or self-talk. Now, it's hard to listen to our own words because I guess we become very unconscious about what we say sometimes. But just listening to the language that you're using, so... Are you perhaps blaming other people for things a lot? Pointing the finger is a classic sign of it. You didn't get that bloody thing done for me on time, or oh, the supplier hasn't done this for me, or the courier company that, or my wife this, or my kids that. And if you can catch yourself doing any of that where you're really blaming other people around you and trying to shift responsibility, classic one is to blame staff or blame your customers for having a bad day. Oh, my customers are idiots. Stop doing that, by the way. If you're referring to your customers as idiots, they put food on your table. But that habit of blaming others is a classic sign of being in that victim mentality where, and you might be blaming the government or the weather. Particularly a lot of tradespeople, the weather has a big impact to play on your business, and it's starting to recognise the things that you can control versus the things that you can't. You can't control the weather or the government or the economic conditions. And the reality is you can't really control what your suppliers do or the sorts of customers, by and large, that you end up with. But what you can control is your attitude and the way you respond to those things and how you set your business up to cope with economic changes and the weather, right? So it's not like rain is a surprise. It's during man's time on the planet, there's been rain days and there's been sunny days. So you kind of have to plan for that stuff and at least have a backup in place. So it's no good just going around and bitching and moaning because, I couldn't do this because of bloody rain and that's why, I've lost money or, I've had to put guys off or whatever. You should actually be thinking ahead of that stuff.
I find another one that a lot of people complain about, that they're getting too many customers or my phone won't stop ringing. I wish they'd just leave me alone. And it's like, hang on.
Yeah, don't you want more of that? What are you in business for?
Shouldn't we go, isn't this awesome? Let's put some strategies in place to deal with it. Let's put another guy on. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Where sometimes they just get so bogged down with the day-to-day that they're not seeing the bigger picture stuff.
Yep. So I find that blaming others, the self-talk, really I'm just going to keep coming back to that self-talk languaging thing because I think it's the most powerful way. And certainly as a mentor, that's really a really powerful indicator for me of the space that my clients are in. And I hear it even with some of our listeners, some of the feedback that we get. You can just, I don't know about you, Michaela, but I can just tell this person is in a bit of a victim state.
Yep.
Things are happening to them, not because of them. And I know there's people listening to this episode that are probably very much in a different space where they're in control, they're taking responsibility, all that sort of stuff. And I don't doubt they're getting the results as the outcome of that. Whereas if you're in that victim mentality, you're giving up all control of your life. And as scary as it may be to say, well, everything that's happening to me is because of me. My spouse is a certain way because of me. That's a bitter pill to swallow. And it's hard to accept that the relationships I'm having with other people in particular is because of me. Because it's like, yeah, but that's them. Well, yeah, but what are you doing to actually create that situation?
Yeah, and I know a tradie that, is constantly complaining about his turnover of staff, all the time. And they only stay a few weeks and they've gone and they whinge all the time. They'll say, I kind of think, well, what's the common factor here?
Yep. There's a bit of a story amongst coaches and mentors, and I don't know if it's urban myth or just made up for teaching purposes, but whatever, it's a good story. Basically, this guy's brother, so this guy's a coach, his brother had 5 failed marriages, and he was having a beer with his coach brother one night and was bitching and moaning about all of his ex-wives. They're all monsters and dragons and, bitches and all that sort of stuff. And the business coach brother said to him, dude, do you not see the common denominator here? What's the one thing that's common to all of these failed relationships? And the guy didn't get it. And when he eventually did, he cracked the shits. What are you saying? And they had this big falling out about the fact that, well, he was actually the cause of the problem.
Yep.
Not everybody else. Now, do other people contribute to the relationships? Absolutely. But we certainly have the power to influence those dynamics. And as business owners and employers, you have to think about what you said, Michaela, about your staff if you've got really high staff turnover, yeah, well, maybe they're not up to the task, but you're the one that hired them. So it was your choice to employ them in your business. Maybe you suck at recruitment and you should be looking to outsource that, for example, or get some better advice or education around how to pick the right people. And there is a bit of, there is a process to doing it well. So you've got to have a look first in the mirror and see, well, what am I doing? It's really about owning what's going on in your life. Yeah,
and it's owning about your thoughts and your actions as well. Like, how are you acting on the job site, or how are you interacting with your staff or your customers? You know, if you're constantly complaining that you're getting tire kickers all the time, or you're not winning jobs, or what are you doing that, you know, perhaps is contributing a little bit to that as well. And your actions and your attitude are everything. So if you're in a crappy mood that day, well, the staff and everything else is probably going to be in a crappy mood as well, because they're feeding off you. They're looking for you to be their leader and their manager. And if you're coming in crappy and, you know, the whole world's turning against you, then you're going to project that attitude as well to everyone around you.
Absolutely. I walked into a mechanical workshop a few years ago to meet with the business owner, and in the background, so we were standing at the front of his workshop, and the guys were working on a car in the background, and next thing, this bloody ring spanner went flying across the workshop and slammed into the opposite wall. And the business owner, we just stopped talking, obviously, and I had to stop myself from laughing because I thought it was hilarious. He didn't think it was that funny, but he went out the back behind the cars and everything in the workshop, and I could hear him like literally screaming at these guys and using lots of expletives that I won't use on this show because we don't have an explicit rating. But, he basically just went out and yelled at them like they were kids, and then came back and continued the conversation with me. And one of the big issues he was having in his business was, guess what?
Staff morale.
Hello. Useless buggers, they bloody treat the customers like shit. It's like, no wonder you're an angry mongrel. Like, if that's how you're dealing with your staff all the time, no wonder they're just giving you the same back, chucking spanners and swearing at everybody. And so, there's an old saying, the fish rots at the head.
Yep.
And so as business owners and leaders, we've really got to have a close look at, well, who am I and how am I actually creating these circumstances around me, rather than taking that victim stance of, I can't get good staff and they're all bloody useless. Why can't they just do their job? And some of those questions are a really good sign that you're in victim mode.
Yeah. One exercise I was told to do once was just monitor my self-talk for 24 hours. And I wasn't allowed to say anything negative about myself. And you think, oh, yeah, no, that's easy. What, as if I do. But it'd be like, I put something back in the cupboard the wrong way and go, oh, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I realised how much negative self-talk I had. I'm always calling myself something. Why would I do that?
It is. It's really sneaky. And
so if you just for 24 hours, here's a challenge. Look at how many times you have a victim question or your negative thought about yourself, and just actually see how much you're doing in just the space of one day. So imagine that impact over days, weeks and months and a year that's going to have on your attitude.
Yeah, because imagine if somebody followed you around all day. Like if I paid somebody to follow you around as a listener of the show, if I followed you around, here you go, all day for a week, and all I did was say all of that negative stuff. Every time you dropped your impact drill, or, did something stupid on a customer car, or lost some money on the horses, like, if every time you did something like that, I said, oh, you're a bloody idiot. Oh, what'd you do that for, stupid? You'd snot me. Like, you'd punch me after about 3 hours. And yet we do it to ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
So, it's such a good point of just becoming aware of what comes out of your mouth. And I there's another one that I guess I want to add to that, Michaela, is the questions we ask ourselves. There are quality questions we can ask ourselves, and there are some maybe not so good questions we can ask ourselves. And a classic is any question that starts with why. Why does this always happen to me? And I can even say it in a voice that really gives it more effect, which is, oh, why does this always happen to me? Now, if you're feeling a bit uncomfortable or angry at me right now listening to the show, good.
Because it means you're probably doing it.
Because that's right. So stop asking those whiny 3.5, 4-year-old toddler questions of, oh, why can't I go to the playground? And as adults, we do that stuff. Why does this happen to me? Why are taxes as bad as they are? Why can't my staff just do their job? Why doesn't my spouse understand me?
Yeah.
So try and start your questions with something other than why. Pick any other word, really. What, how, what can we do to change this? How could I improve my customer service? How could I get some more clients? Or how could I improve my staff morale? And just start to ask some better quality questions of yourself and shift the responses that come back.
Oh, that's very profound, right?
There you go. See, I do know something about something. Although, if you're listening and you've got some feedback for us or a story about your own mindset, or maybe you've been through a victim phase in your life and you turned yourself around, perhaps you're stuck in one now and you'd like some help, go hit us on the Facebook page, tradiesbusinessshow.com, or just look for us at Tradies Business Show on Facebook and share your story with us. Send us a voicemail via the website. We'd love to hear from you. Give us some feedback.
Yeah, and if you've read a book or had a resource or something like that, I know there's a lot of great books out there that help to change the way you think and train your brain. So if you've got any resources that help you, please share, and we'll share them on the show. We'll
get it out to the listeners. And if you've got someone like that maybe you listen to another podcast, God forbid, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but maybe you listen to another podcast or you've been to a seminar or something and you think they'd make a good interview or a guest on the show, let us know, because we're always wanting to bring content to you, the listeners, that you want to hear. So please don't be afraid. We don't bite much.
And nor do our show sponsors face-to-face.
I wondered how we were going to get into that.
We're quality broadcasters.
So who supports our show, Michaela?
Face-to-face training. So if you have any staff that you want to help boost their morale and make them feel better, see what I did there?
Yeah, that was pretty clever. Yeah.
You may be entitled to some free training.
Maybe.
Maybe check out the team, see if you qualify. But if not, it's certainly a cost-affordable way to help develop and train your staff, or perhaps help you with your leadership and management. So there's a lot of courses and training that they can do. So face2face.edu.au and check them out there, and they'll be able to steer you in the right direction.
That's right. And if your phone's getting you down, if a bit of the victim mentality is directed at the mobile phone that's in the pocket, driving you nuts, bloody customers won't stop ringing me, you know what? Don't bother fixing your mindset. Just get someone else to answer the phone. Another one of the show supporters, Tradies VA. So basically you get your own full-time receptionist from $22 a day. Never have to answer your phone again. Tradiesva.com.au. Thanks to the team there for supporting the podcast and making this fantastic content available to you, the listener. And on that note...
Till next time.
I'm feeling very zen, Uru.
You've been listening to the Tradies Business Show with Warwick Bidwell and Michaela Clark. Want to get off the tools and into true business ownership? Find out how at tradiesbusinessshow.com.